Well, Bo found a dog walking down the pathway. He likes to go play with dogs. That's how sometimes he disappears. So in a few minutes I'll just buzz him and make sure he sticks around. Thunder was the first horse that kicked me right in the elbow. Fortunately, he didn't get me hard, but I was sure mad at him for kicking me. Because you just never know. Horses will poop anywhere from 7 to 10 times a day. So if you don't stay on top of it, you can build up quite the mess inside of a pen. It's actually very relaxing. I didn't know that cleaning horse poop would change a person. But I noticed years ago, some of the people, when they were cleaning the horse pen, they actually looked very pleasant, had a very pleasant look on their face. It was time to ponder. Part of my book came from thinking about my past, thinking about things in life. A lot of my book came from writing between, I think I mentioned it before, 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. They say you should have 8 hours of sleep, and I thought to myself, well, they said you should have 8 hours of sleep a night. And I thought to myself, well, 8 hours of sleep a night will keep you broke. That doesn't mean you can't have 8 hours of sleep somewhere along the way, but whether I ever write that book, we'll see. Maybe. I have a lot of books inside my head now after writing my first one. I'm actually almost finished with my second one. Anyway, so at 7, I was sexually invaded by a 19-year-old boy across the street. And I didn't know what happened when that took place, and I actually didn't tell anybody for about 45 years. Not because I kept it a secret, but because I pushed it out of my brain as something that had happened that I didn't know what to do with. But what I started doing was, at least consciously, what I was doing was I went home and started bouncing my head on my pillow, and I would bounce my head face first, like 2 in less than a second. But while I was bouncing my head, I was building a world inside my mind And this world I didn't know would include horses, but I built that world, and it was pretty amazing. And I would bounce my head 6, 7, 8,000 times a night, night after night after night, and it felt so good that I would do that. Well, some people refer to it now as tapping. Well, that tapping, this is probably the wrong word, but there are meridians, senses on your face, and besides acne. Anyway, well, I was pounding my face into my pillow night after night after night, year after year after year. I was just constantly building this new world inside my head. Well, it came to pass because I put it inside of me and led myself to that space, to where I could build that world. And it feels good. I actually still do it to this day. And it's like a meditation, I found. Yeah, it was a way of tapping success into me, but I didn't know that I was doing that when I was doing it. And so it was an interesting experience getting married and figuring out how I was going to tell my wife, which I never did. But she experienced it, thought it was an earthquake. In any case, I write about that a little bit in my book. But nonetheless, that's what I would do. So I'm gonna keep cleaning, but when I started bouncing my head, it just felt so good. That's probably why I still do it to this day. And yet, that's where I would relive most of my life, is in that moment. In that moment while I was bouncing my head. And it gave me some unique perspectives in my life. I mean, looking back, I can see some of those perspectives, and I like them. Maybe because that's what set me apart from my brothers. All right, I need to get Bo back here. I think he's obsessed with that cat. I'm glad Thunder didn't leave. I didn't close the gate well enough. Some horses like to run out. Anytime you open up a gate, it's like, hey, they left a gate for me. Left the gate open for me. It's like, no. I figure if I can clean 3 pens a day, it'll help me stay on top of the pens that I've committed to cleaning. So if I do that, and I didn't clean for the last few days because of the rain, I might have to clean 4 pens to get caught back up, but we'll see what the day brings. yeah, so I started doing that, and looking back, I probably hold the unofficial Guinness Book of World Record for bouncing my face into my pillow millions and millions and millions of times over the last 50 some odd years. I recorded the sound one time. The sound sounded similar to that of when a nurse puts on a monitor on a baby, hearing a baby's heartbeat inside the mother's stomach. That's kind of what it sounds like. And I really like it because I would create different patterns as my ears hit the pillow, and there would be this whisk sound against my ears. I should say this whisking sound. And what I would do is just simply put usually my right hand onto my left wrist and start bouncing with my hands above my head. And I found that I had a feather pillow. Well, then foam pillows came out, and I tried bouncing my head on a foam pillow, but the foam expanded as fast as I lifted my head off the pillow, and I would suffocate. So I found really fast that bouncing my face on a foam pillow didn't work. So I ended up going back to a feather pillow, because a feather pillow created a cavern for me to breathe. And I try to find patterns beyond just bouncing my head. I was never encouraged to stop. I don't know if my parents knew that I even did it. Oh, there's Bo. My dad did, but he never told me to stop, which I'm glad he didn't. I don't know if my mother ever knew. Sometimes, as I got older, I bounced my head so hard and so many times for so long that my side would hurt. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. I know. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. I know you want the cat. Hey. Yeah, you're okay. Let's go. Yeah, so I'd bounce so hard for so long, my side would hurt, and that was okay. When I got enough bounces in, I shuffled my pillow and fell asleep. I don't bounce as long as I used to. But sometimes I'll just wake up in the middle of the night when I write, or if I need to clear my head or get things out of my head that were things I didn't want to retain, is that I would start bouncing my head, kind of going back into that state of innocence for me. And if I had to do it all over again, and consciously know that that's what I would be doing, I would do it. I do have to admit that after, I think it's probably in my 40s, where my shoulders started hurting a little bit, because all that slight movement affected my shoulders. So I just reposition my arms under my chest and keep bouncing. Now I vacillate between the two, between above my head and under my chest. It's given me a very strong neck and chest muscles, which I didn't know would be a part of doing that repetitive motion. I think the thing I was going to add that I haven't added, that if you have questions or if you have a comment, feel free to do so. I welcome them. Maybe bouncing my head, one of the other positives that came from it and kept me in a state of innocence was that I could turn negative into positive. Well, that's a pretty innocent state of mind when you can turn negative into positive. Yeah, so that's what I would do. I spent that my entire life, childhood, and even to this day, turning negative into positive. It's a very unique gift. So, well, I'll share this part. So the F word is an acronym, which I didn't know. It essentially meant fornication under the consent of the king. There's probably a few variations to that acronym, but maybe that's why people always felt that it was really dirty, because it really was AKA rape, which is dirty. Well, when I understood that it was an acronym, I realized the positive side of FUCK, and that is family, unity, culture, and kindness. And you are the center of all of it. And all of a sudden it became a church talk. Now, I haven't been brave enough to talk about family, unity, culture, and kindness, but family, unity, culture, and kindness is spoken at church, just maybe in different orders. But I always thought that was very interesting, because it also helped me process the information that sometimes how we process a piece of information and then we become angry about it or repulsed because of it may not be the truth. Now, what are the odds that I will ever change something that's been set in for hundreds of years, that family, unity, culture, and kindness is the positive side of the negative? But to me, it made sense. And now I shared it. Well, okay. With that, I need to go clean some more pens. But we'll talk again.